Mute.
That's everybody else. That's
Tim,
Yes.
one of the things that needs to happen when there's a motion,
Okay.
then you just can't say all in favor. We actually have to go through an official roll call.
Okay.
So
So I
anytime
call-
there's a motion, then we go roll call.
Do I call out their names?
I can do that. Either me or Leah can go through and call the roll.
Okay. And there was gonna be like a raise your hand deal.
So if you go to participants and you click on the little participants thing, it'll bring up a little menu, and you can hover over yourself, and then there's a little raise your hand, and you can click on that, and the little blue thing comes up. I can see it, and then I can unmute the person and allow them to talk once you call on them.
So currently Kevin has his hand raised.
Yep.
Okay.
And I can lower it. I can mute everybody. I can unmute people. So
okay.
let's see, who are we waiting on? Jake. Oh, so Tom must be Chromebook 98 BC.
So we got Jake. Is Bob on here, just not on video?
How do you, oh,
There he is.
hold on. We good?
There he is.
Okay. First time using this app, so I don't.
And someone's on the phone. Not sure who that is.
It's a Jake iPhone.
Got audio?
Yeah, Jake's there. I just
Yeah.
unmuted him. He's
Okay.
on.
Why'd you have me muted, Brian?
Everybody comes in muted.
I'm just kidding. All right.
So should we get started without, who are we missing? Nick? Kevin disappeared?
Oh, Kevin's there.
Oh, I'm only showing 6 screens. Maybe I need to make that bigger. There you go.
And you should be able to see my screen with the agenda.
Yep.
Okay. I think we should get the May 12th Planning and Zoning Meeting Commission called to order. I'll let the roll call show Mick is missing. Take a motion to adopt the agenda.
I make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Second.
A motion and a second. Or any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Roll call.
I,
So I'll do the roll. Kevin,
Yeah.
Jason,
Yep.
Jake,
Yep.
Bob,
yep.
Tim.
Yes.
Am I
No
missing one?
public. Mick. But he's gone.
3, 4. Nope, that's 5.
No public hearings today, so we'll take a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Second, any further discussion? Not showing any, we'll do a roll call.
Kevin,
Yep.
Bob,
I,
Jake,
Aye.
Jason,
Yep.
Tim.
Aye. Then we'll move on to new business. Brian, you want to give us a little background?
Yeah, so the first item that we have here is Palmer Bus is planning to or wants to build a cold storage shed for their buses. It's actually a rather large structure to the south of their existing building. And they have their plan here to review for the planning commission before they apply for a building permit. In the site plan, you can see that this is the existing building here. And then they're planning to put a similar sized building just to the south. 15 feet from the side yard. It's got enough distance on the backyard and the front yard setbacks, and there's distance between the two structures. The eastern portion back here, that's where the fuel storage is going to be located. And it looks like the buses will come out and they can fuel up and then head out. I believe the building is going to be just over 20,000 square feet. Is that right? Brian Lynch is on the thing here too, so he can comment as well if you have questions. So it fits on the site plan. It meets the setbacks, all that good stuff. And then the exterior design, this is the elevations for the structure. Looks like it's got 4 garage doors on the one side. And it's just a big open storage building, roughly 100 by 226. And according to the zoning code, the architectural standards are consisting of 1 or more non-combustible, non-degradable, essentially maintenance-free exterior material. May be designed so that burnished block and specialty block forms, exposed aggregate concrete, concrete block, precast concrete panels, wood, anodized aluminum or similar materials are used if appropriately integrated into the overall building design. And in the case of wood, if not subject to damage due to heavy use or exposure, shall not consist of materials such as sheet or corrugated aluminum or unfinished metals such as tin. And it needs to be compatible with the surrounding industrial buildings. So it should have a look and design similar to the existing building on the site. And I believe that, I don't know, what kind of material is this going to be, Brian?
It's going to be a wooden structure with obviously a steel sheeting for the roof and side panels, wainscoting.
Okay. So that's the design plan. And like I said, if the site plan fits the zoning setbacks and all that kind of stuff. So the question is for planning commission, the design standards and things of that nature before you would make a recommendation to allow or go forward with a authorization for building permit. Questions?
So is it basically going to be a pole shed?
Yes.
No. Oh, it is.
That's
Well,
pretty
yeah.
much the construction of the existing building, isn't it?
Yes.
I didn't see any foundation.
What was the question on foundation?
I just was wondering if it was a pole shed, if it was a continuous foundation.
To the best of my knowledge, it's a pole shed.
Okay.
Any other discussion? I see it's gray sidewalls. On my screen, it looks like a black or green roof, but I think I read it was black roof. That's going to correspond sort of with the front half of the existing building, so it should match and looks as close as you can get.
Yeah, we will try and keep it aesthetically the same as the other structure that's there as far as the color schemes and that sort of thing. Our more standard colors have been a gray side panels with black trim outs and black roof.
Does it have garages on both sides or just the garages on the east side? The garage doors?
That building is designed as a drive-through building so that we're avoiding any backing. That's why we tried to have the structure set up as well without any poles in the middle.
Okay,
So you can see a narrow door.
Mhm.
Basically, it's on the north side of that building.
okay. And are you gonna be getting all of your buses into that facility, or are you gonna use the existing building for bus storage as well?
All of our school buses will be parked inside this cold storage building. The existing building will be used more for our van storage, smaller vehicles.
Okay,
The middle of the existing building also is, we're utilizing the repair facility that Gen X was using as well. That's where we do our bus maintenance and bus washing.
okay,
This new structure will not have a solid floor, and it'll be a gravel floor. It'll have cement aprons on each end with the doors. And
is
the
that gonna
interior
comport,
will be basically unlined.
is that gonna, and I have no knowledge of whether this is compliant or not, but is a building such as that with that kind of size gonna be acceptable without a concrete floor from a code standpoint? I suppose Corey will have to review that, but
Yeah, Corey will have to review that, but that design is designed so that it'll work with the poles.
okay.
So just architecturally, that's what we're looking for, just so it meets all the architectural.
Yes, that's correct. You want to review the architectural standards and how it fits with the other buildings in the district, which would be the two Westerman buildings to the north, or the Palmer and the Novak Industries buildings to the north, and then I believe it's Tarba Storage is right directly south of you there. Is that? Yeah, Tarba Storage is right to the south, so that's what you're looking at.
I thought in some of our, and if I can make a comment here, that don't we have to have like a brick wainscoting or something on a street facing side? A certain percentage of it would have to be brick or similar material.
So that's in the B district, the business district. This
Okay.
is I1, light industrial. If the existing building has some kind of a brick wainscot treatment, then this building should have it too, so that it matches and looks similar. But when I read the architectural standards, it does not require a 48-inch brick or other kind of treatment on the front facing the street. That's only if it's a B1, B2, or B3.
Okay.
So do we need to make a motion for something on this, Brian, or just sort of give our blessing and then it moves on to making sure Corey okays everything?
Yeah, I think that what you've done in the past is the planning commission has moved the recommendation to approve the building permit based on the site plan and design that was provided by the company.
I make a motion to approve the permit and as built for the site plan.
I would second that.
I got a motion and a second for approval. We'll do a roll call vote.
Kevin,
Aye.
Jake,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Jason,
All right.
Tim,
Aye.
and the motion carries. Any other questions for Mr. Lynch?
No.
What's your timeline?
Well, school year is fastly approaching. My summer's disappearing pretty quick, so we're trying to get this through as quick as we can so we can get it going. We're finalizing what that building is with the manufacturer right now and getting our contractor lined up. So we're just trying to fast forward what we can on these permits and get this stuff approved and accepted by everyone within the city and whatever code we need to meet to do that.
Okay.
Sounds good. Thanks, Brian. Move on to old business. I think I need to recluse myself and Jake take over the meeting at this point.
That would be.
I don't think you need to go to
correct.
that extent. He just can't vote, right?
He kind of has to turn the meeting over to the chair since he's the presenter on this particular item.
Okay.
That's in color.
Go ahead, Brian.
All right. So. So about a year ago, Tim brought forward a sketch plan for subdividing the area on First Street, the old Seneca property. And he was not sure exactly how he wanted to do it. We did work out a development agreement with him, and I guess we'll have to review that to make sure that that's still in force. But what he's got planned here is to create 5 lots on the west side of First Street that are each about 40,000 square feet. So they fit the minimum requirements for an light industrial area. And then, Tim, correct me if I'm wrong, but you also have a small parcel or a lot on the southeast corner as well, tucked in that wetland area. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
That's
And then
already
on
a
the-
already a separate lot. It just needs to get re-described to bring it up to the right descriptions of the meets and bounds or blocks and lots instead of meets and bounds.
Right. And then on the west side across the ditch, he's got that parcel laid out for self-storage units, as I understand it, or some other kind of a development as well. So this is just a sketch plan. It's for the Planning Commission to take a look at, to review, comment on consistency with the comprehensive plan, ask questions about how it's going to be put together by the developer, that being Mr. Bezick. It will, once this is done, comments and suggestions and things will be put in a letter form and shipped over to Tim to work in those comments into the preliminary plat. Because there are wetlands in the area, it's going to have to be reviewed by the DNR. The engineer will have to review it. And also the attorney will have to review it as well for legal descriptions and ownership documents and all that kind of stuff. And he has 6 months to get that preliminary plat to the filled out and applied for. I think the Park Commission has to take a look at it as well. Won't need to be reviewed by the Department of Transportation from Minnesota. Doesn't have to be reviewed by the township. So take those two out of the picture, but the other ones will have to have a review. And we got about 60 days after comments are submitted to bring the preliminary plat back to the Planning Commission for review and recommendation to move forward on the final plat. So, open for questions.
It's basically the same thing I brought forward before.
Could Could you please state your name and your address, sir?
Tim Bezek, 1208 Pondview Avenue. It's basically the same as before. The units in the middle lot are shown. That may just go up for sale as well, but they put them in there for sizing for me.
What about, I have a question, like utilities, it shows the utilities on this one, they don't go to the last lots at the end of the street?
They'll be going down there. As a sketch plan, it's not the final version, but it's.
Okay.
Yeah, the engineer will review the plan for utilities, and the one utility, or the two utilities that he's gonna have to address, since water already runs down there with, I believe there's some stubs already, he'll have to address the sanitary sewer and the stormwater. And because he's got wetland behind him in that, the big outlot there, I don't think stormwater is gonna be a huge issue.
What about, another question I had on this was maybe, the dead end street there, shouldn't there maybe be a turnaround at the end there, or?
Where you'll have like a parking lot in front of the buildings, won't you? That's
Yes,
it.
the plan is to not utilize parking on the street. The properties will have their own parking lots. I know when I purchased this, the city, the lot used to go across First Street, and they took that ownership back. So I don't know if that'd be my responsibility or their responsibility if it was needed, because they talked about if in the future it continues out to the highway, which will probably never happen, but that's why they wanted to take that portion back.
Yeah, that will become, First Street all the way from the dead end and all the way to Boulevard is gonna be a city street. So that's why it'll be a platted, city street there. And whether or not it gets extended, who knows if that'll happen. I'm not sure you need a turnaround down there. The engineer can address that.
Just looking at if you got trucks coming in and out of there, with an industrial site, it only makes sense, for fire and everything.
So
I know
you're,
Seneca utilizes it now without a turnaround, so I don't know why it'd be required now, but that's up to the city engineer, I guess.
Jason, are you specifically thinking of fire trucks and other emergency vehicles being required to turn around down there?
Well, I'm just looking at if you have, let's say, if you sell all 5 of those and you got shops or whatever, industrial truck traffic going in and out of there, just for a place to turn around at the end, otherwise, you're gonna have to back out of there, pretty much.
Well, wouldn't the business sites have their own parking lots and their own turnarounds? I mean, there's plenty of industrial developments that have dead end roads that don't have big cul-de-sacs on the end of them, because the businesses themselves that need the trucking build their business to suit trucking so that it doesn't interfere with public roads.
I was just mentioning, I know when we were looking at Otting's development there, that was brought up for the traffic and everything else, increased traffic and.
Well, that was because that First Street is an unimproved road. And that was the main reason for that discussion on the Otting plan. This has an improved road, and we actually, this is our designated area for trucks to park, the semi trucks and whatnot park down there.
Yep. They're just 2 counts.
Any other thoughts or comments on the preliminary or the sketch plan here that you think need to be addressed in the preliminary as Mr. Beasley goes forward on this?
That's all I saw.
I don't have anything.
If not, then we can put together some general comments and get it to Tim so he can move forward in the process.
Okay,
Do we need to make a motion to move forward with it, or what's?
No, the sketch plan is just basically kind of an informal discussion with the planning commission. You take a look at it, you give your comments and how it fits with the comprehensive plan and some things that they need to include before they submit the formal preliminary plat. There doesn't need to be a formal motion. They just take the comments and we send them a letter outlining what the comments are and what they need to address in the preliminary plat, and then they have 60 days or 6 months to come forward with their preliminary plat. And that's when it becomes a much more formal process with review by other departments and a thorough review by the engineer. And that's when the dollars start to go ching ching on the developer.
I guess I got no further comments.
That's all I had.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, well, Lee and I will put together a letter to Tim and then he can move forward in the process.
sounds good. Jake, I'll take back control. Did a good job.
Okay. If you insist, Tim,
There. Right. Building permits.
I don't want to let you down, bud.
Thanks.
All right, so the good news is, even though the people are supposed to be staying at home and not doing much, they're doing a lot of work on their houses. So we've got a lot of permits coming in. We didn't have a meeting in April, so this is March or April. You can see we've got, I think, 12 new home permits this year so far. So we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in April and 3 in March, and we've had a few more prior to that. So we've got a lot of new homes going up. The last 2 months, that's about $1.2 million in value, so that's good. And then there's just a few other little things that are happening with water softeners and some windows and whatnot. So construction still moving.
Good.
Any questions or comments on that, or any other questions?
Looks good.
Do you have anything to tell us, Brian?
Not particularly, no. Trying to think of what's coming up for June. I thought there was a possible public hearing in June, but I can't remember what that would be. If you submit your preliminary plat, there's a possibility, but it has to go through those reviews. So
Okay. If
is there
no-
anything that you think of for coming for June?
5 minutes. No, I can't think of anything at the moment.
Okay.
Well, I would, if there's no other questions or comments, I'd take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion in 2 seconds. So we're done at 7:28. Thanks, everyone.
Have a good night.
Yep. See you guys.
Yep.